All right, you. Strap in because today we're not just scratching the surface. We're plunging headfirst into the raw, often uncomfortable, but utterly indispensable truths of the material world.
The real gritty stuff.
Yeah, the stuff that actually makes every single thing around us function, from your phone to your fancy coffee cup. And trust me, what we're about to uncover isn't always pretty.
Definitely not.
I'm talking about the bedrock, the elemental, non-negotiable foundations that hold our entire civilization together. And sometimes understanding it just hits you like a freight train.
It really does.
I still vividly remember standing on the precipice of this truly gargantuan gold mine in Nevada.
Oh, yeah?
It wasn't just big, it was a legitimate continent-scarring hole in the ground. Miners at the bottom looked like specks, the trucks like matchboxes, just vast.
Hard to even picture that scale.
Totally. And I was handed these two buttons, right?
Yeah.
A detonator.
Seriously.
Yeah.
They let you push the button.
Yeah. To press when the countdown hit 0, and when that timer chimed down to nothing, a piece of the earth the size of a goddamn football pitch just evaporated.
Yeah.
Gone. A cloud of dust, and the ground simply wasn't there anymore. It was jarring, unsettling, a real gut punch moment.
And that, my friend, is where the comfortable illusion we often live in gets brutally ripped away.
Right.
You're standing there literally witnessing this primal act of extraction, of tearing the planet apart.
Yeah.
And suddenly you're forced to confront the hidden costs, the sheer raw sacrifice behind something as seemingly innocuous as a ring on your finger.
Exactly.
It's a fundamental truth we've profoundly disconnected from, the physical world that actually truly sustains us,
Yeah.
the very ground beneath our seat, giving up its guts for our convenience.
Absolutely. Because I'm there feeling a little queasy, with my gold wedding ring on my finger, a symbol of love, for Christ's sake. And it just hits me. The chances are this gold, my gold, came from a sacred mountain like the one they were blowing up, Mount Tenebo for the Western Shoshone. Oh, man.
And I had never checked its origin. Not once. Not like conflict diamonds where everyone's rightly up in arms about it.
Right, we hear about those all the time.
It was like I just enjoyed this fantastic slap-up sausage and egg breakfast, feeling all cozy and well-fed.
Uh-huh, yeah.
And then someone drags me to the abattoir and says, "Here, you smug bastard, this is how it's made."
That's a disturbingly perfect analogy.
That comfortable ignorance we all wrap ourselves in, it's profoundly fucked up when you stop to think about it.
It truly is. And the brutal truth is, this isn't just about gold, which, let's be honest, we can mostly live without, or at least significantly reduce our demand for.
True. It's pretty, but not essential.
Right. This is about everything. Our entire intricate modern existence rests on this foundational disconnect. It reminds me of Leonard Read's famous essay, I Pencil.
Oh yeah, iPencil. Classic.
He starts by saying, I am a lead pencil, the ordinary wooden pencil familiar to all boys and girls and adults who can read and write. Simple enough, right?
Deceptively simple. But then he delivers the sucker punch. Not a single person on the face of this earth knows how to make me. Just sit with that for a second.
Yeah.
The sheer, staggering, unconscious global collaboration required for something so simple, so mundane, it's mind-bending.
That essay is a real mind-bender, isn't it? Because you realize that from the logger who felled the cedar tree in Oregon, to the graphite miner in Sri Lanka, to the factory worker assembling the components, to the guy making the ferrule, that little metal band at the end that holds the eraser.
Yeah, the ferrule.
Yeah.
Never thought about that.
To the person hauling the parts across oceans. Millions of people are involved, and none of them know more than a few others in that vast interconnected chain.
Nobody sees the whole picture.
It's a truly wild, almost comical dance of global dependency that we just take for granted every single day.
And that complexity, that utterly decentralized genius of the market, was a crucial lesson of the Cold War. The economist Milton Friedman championed I-Pencil to illustrate precisely why central planning was utterly doomed to fail.
Right, because how could one person or even one government possibly coordinate all that?
Exactly. No single entity, no government, no all-knowing dictator could ever direct such an intricate, constantly evolving dance of production. It's too vast, too nuanced, too spontaneous.
Impossible.
Today, that complexity is even more pronounced. Take silicon chips.
Oh boy, yeah.
Even the most brilliant engineers in a cutting-edge foundry in Taiwan understand their specific process, their slice of the pie.
In a little corner.
But they can't fully explain how the ultra-pure silicon wafers arrived at their loading dock, Or what the hell happened at the quarry in North Carolina where the sand for those wafers was dug up?
Right. It's like layers upon layers of not knowing.
It's a network of specialized expertise
Yeah.
so vast, so atomized, that literally no one has the complete picture. It's built on a collective ignorance, paradoxically.
And yet, in the face of this astonishing, undeniable complexity, we've somehow fallen for this comforting myth, especially in post-industrial nations,
The myth of...
that we're somehow dematerializing,
Hmm.
that we're using fewer resources, getting more from less, that our shiny digital economy is lighter, cleaner, I'm going to call it. That's some grade A bullshit, isn't it?
Grade A prime cut bullshit.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
We look at our national GDP going up, our local raw material extraction flatlining, and we pat ourselves on the back, convinced we're becoming these enlightened post-material beings.
Look how efficient we are.
But that's just a comforting fairy tale, a dangerous one.
You're absolutely spot on. It's not dematerialization at all. It's simply outsourcing the dirty work.
Bingo.
We've just shipped the difficult, the dangerous, the often environmentally brutal business of digging and extracting to other parts of the world.
Out of sight, out of mind.
While material consumption might appear to fall in places like the US and the UK, it's absolutely skyrocketing in the countries producing all the goods we consume. It's the ultimate shell game.
Passing the buck, literally.
And here's the brutal, almost darkly ironic truth. Even our much-touted green technologies, electric vehicles, wind turbines, solar panels, they don't magically materialize out of thin air or good intention.
Right, they're made of stuff. Lots of stuff.
In the short to medium term, they actually demand more raw materials, not less, than the fossil fuel infrastructure they're designed to replace.
More mining, more digging, more processing.
Far from being a sideshow, resource exploitation is now more critical, more intense, and more globally intertwined than ever. We've deluded ourselves into believing precisely the opposite, and it's a dangerous delusion.
Seriously dangerous.
For every ton of fossil fuels we exploit, we dig up, on average, 6 tons of other materials, mostly sand and stone, but also metals, salts, and a whole host of other chemicals.
6 tons. That's staggering.
It's a staggering physical footprint we rarely acknowledge.
So if we're going to get undiluted, if we're going to stop falling for these convenient fictions, our mission for this deep dive is to pull back the curtain on the 6 absolutely essential, non-shakable physical ingredients.
The big 6.
The ones without which civilization as we know it would simply grind to a screeching, chaotic halt. We're talking about the unsung heroes, the often ignored workhorses that underpin everything. Sand, salt, iron, copper, oil, and lithium.
The foundational elements.
These aren't the sexy, scarce, inherently valuable things people obsess over in their investment portfolios. They're usually just there, mundane, yet utterly crucial.
Precisely.
Mm.
They are the primary building blocks, the bedrock upon which empires have risen and fallen, cities have been built, and climates have been irrevocably changed.
Couldn't live without them. Not like this, anyway.
We might, just about, scrape by without them in some limited pre-industrial way, but thriving, forget about it. They are foundational.
Totally foundational.
And for the most part, there are no ideal, easily scalable substitutes that don't come with their own set of brutal dilemmas.
Yeah, no easy answers.
The true, brutal wisdom lies in truly understanding their story, not from our often anthropocentric perspective of clever human invention, but from their perspective as the silent, fundamental shapers of our world.
Looking at it from the materials point of view, interesting.
It's about respecting the sheer, undeniable physicality of existence and understanding that the material world bats last every single time. And that's where the fun really begins.
All right, let's kick things off with something that seems utterly unremarkable, but is in fact absolutely everywhere and utterly indispensable. Sand.
Good old sand.
Not just any sand, mind you, the right kind of sand. And its origin story can be pretty damn wild. Imagine this, you're standing in the Great Sand Sea near what's now the Egypt-Libya border.
Okay, I'm there.
29 million years ago, a meteor, a falling star, slams into the Earth with unimaginable force,
Oh, boom.
causing an explosion so cataclysmic it would have been heard and felt across entire continents.
And what did that raw, brute force of nature create? Libyan desert glass?
Exactly.
Not just any glass, but pure canary yellow glass, formed in the blink of an eye from the intense heat and pressure of that impact.
Instant glass from space rocks.
Okay, man.
Amazing.
Contrast that with diamonds, which require millennia of immense pressure deep within the earth to form. This luminous, almost alien stone was so unique, so captivating,
Must have looked incredible.
that a piece of it, carved into a beetle, was found among the treasures in Tutankhamun's sarcophagus.
Wow, Tutankhamun had space glass.
Apparently so. It's a primal testament to nature's raw power, turning common sand into something both priceless and profoundly mysterious.
Nature is metal.
But here's the paradox, the first little wrinkle of brutal wisdom.
Ah.
The Earth is literally made of sand. In fact, it's the second most abundant mineral in Earth's crust.
So it's everywhere.
Yet we constantly hear about desperate shortages and have sand mafias fighting and killing for it, often with staggering brutality.
Yeah, that's where it gets hilariously confusing, right? If there's so much sand on the planet, why the hell is there a mafia for it? Like some kind of illicit drug ring.
It doesn't seem to add up.
And the inconvenient yet ridiculously simple answer is it's not all sand. It's the right kind of sand.
The specifics matter.
It's about the specific silica content, the absence of impurities, and crucial for concrete, the grain shape. You want high silica content for making precision glass or silicon chips.
Purity is key there.
And you need angular, jagged grains for concrete to bind properly and give it strength. Beach sand, with its smooth, water-worn grains, or desert sand, often too fine and rounded by wind, simply won't do the trick.
Too smooth, too round. Useless for building.
So you can be surrounded by an ocean of sand, like in Dubai, and still have a desperate shortage of the useful stuff. It's like having a fridge full of light beer when you really need a decent IPA.
Perfect. Lots of volume, none of the good stuff.
Exactly.
Exactly. And this melted sand, this incredibly versatile material we call glass, is a foundational innovation. It's what we call a general-purpose technology.
Like the wheel, you mean?
Like the wheel or the steam engine or the internet itself. Without it, so much of human progress simply wouldn't have happened. Our very ability to perceive and manipulate the world around us would be profoundly limited.
Absolutely. Think about it. Galileo, standing there, peering into space, seeing the moons of Jupiter for the first time.
Changing everything.
Proving the Earth wasn't the center of the universe, all thanks to glass lenses he painstakingly ground. That literally changed our conception of the cosmos.
Mind-altering stuff just from glass.
Spectacles, cheap and widely available thanks to glass, extended working lives by decades, driving the Renaissance alongside the printing press.
Right. People could actually read for longer.
People could actually read and work with fine details for longer, fueling an explosion of knowledge. And today, the internet, this vast, seemingly ethereal network we all rely on for literally everything.
Our lifeline.
It's mostly a mesh of information transmitted through hair-thin glass wires, fiber optics, crisscrossing oceans and continents. Not bad for something that is ultimately just melted sand, is it?
Not bad at all. It's a remarkable, almost magical transformation.
Truly magical.
And here's where the brutal wisdom really hits you in the face. Despite its ubiquity, our complete reliance, and centuries of working with it, scientists still struggle to fully comprehend why glass behaves the way it does.
Wait, really? We don't understand glass.
Not fully. It defies most molecular laws. It's more of a supercooled liquid, a state of matter, than a true solid. Philip Anderson, a Nobel laureate in physics, famously called the nature of glass the deepest and most interesting unsolved problem in solid-state theory.
Holy crap. That's insane.
Think about that for a moment. We rely on this fundamental magic, this profound mystery, every single day in every aspect of our lives, and we don't fully understand its core physics.
That is humbling.
It's a truly humbling truth in our age of scientific mastery. We build empires on things we don't quite grasp.
It truly is, and it puts our human arrogance in check, doesn't it? And this ignorance, or perhaps complacency, can have serious, real-world consequences, even in times of global conflict.
Like when?
Take WWI. Britain, despite its own robust glassmaking prowess, was utterly reliant on Germany's optical giant, Zeiss, for precision optics, binoculars, periscopes, rangefinders.
The good German optics.
British snipers were literally outgunned by their German counterparts who had superior optics. It caused a devastating glass famine for the Allies.
A glass famine. Never heard that term.
And a desperate scramble for pure silica sands, leading them to obscure, windswept places like Lochaline in Scotland.
Hunting for magic sand.
A place that, if you zoom out in deep time, was once a tropical estuary, naturally sifting and purifying sand for millions of years, creating these unique deposits that became militarily strategic overnight.
Wow. Geology suddenly becomes warfare.
The Earth's deep history suddenly became a modern-day battleground.
And this deep time perspective, which you just touched on, is so crucial that it's almost comical in its scale.
How so?
Imagine compressing Earth's entire 4.5 billion year existence into a single calendar year.
Okay, I got it. 1 year.
We, Homo sapiens, only arrive on the scene at about a quarter to midnight on New Year's Eve.
15 minutes to go. That's it.
That's it. Everything we've built, all this frantic extraction, all our progress and our civilizations, happens in the last few minutes of that year.
Jesus. That puts things in perspective.
It really puts our current geological impact, the sheer volume of material we're moving around, into a truly brutal, almost laughably brief context. We're geological toddlers playing with dynamite.
From those ancient meteor-kissed sands and the battlefields of WWI, we jump to the ultimate alchemy of the modern age. Silicon chips.
The heart of everything digital.
We routinely take this incredibly common, cheap, inert substance, plain old sand, and, through a mind-boggling process, turn it into products that are quite literally worth their weight in gold.
Sand to gold. Literally.
It's a transformation that would make ancient alchemists weep with envy or maybe just snort with laughter at our sheer audacity.
I'm mind-boggling indeed. Moore's law, the relentless, almost terrifying miniaturization, means transistors are now smaller than a red blood cell. In fact, you could fit 1,000 transistors inside a single red blood cell.
1,000 inside one blood cell. That's impossible to visualize.
You could actually fit 4 transistors inside a COVID-19 virus, each the size of one of its spike proteins.
Okay, now you're just messing with me. 4 transistors in a virus.
Not messing. These aren't just feats of engineering. These are the most extraordinary, almost unbelievable manipulations of matter operating at an atomic level. We're not just making things. We're essentially rearranging the universe.
So if this magic sand is the foundation of our digital lives, where the hell does this ultra-pure, ultra-special magic sand actually come from? Because it's not just any old silica.
Right. The source matters immensely.
And the answer, incredibly, takes us to Spruce Pine, North Carolina.
Spruce pine. Never heard of it.
This single site, this unassuming corner of the Appalachian Mountains, controls the global supply of ultra-high purity quartz. It's absolutely essential for the crucibles, the giant silicon bakeware where silicon wafers are grown.
One place. For the whole world.
Pretty much. We're talking Willy Wonka levels of secrecy here.
Right.
Blindfolded contractors, highly guarded trade secrets, processes whispered only in the deepest confines of the company.
Blindfolded contractors. You're kidding.
Nope. China has tried for decades with all its industrial might to replicate it, to no avail. It is nigh on impossible. It's a geological lottery ticket, and the U.S. holds the winning stub.
Wow. A literal geological monopoly.
Pretty much.
And the complexity doesn't stop there. These lights-out fabs factories, so automated, so sensitive, that they literally operate almost entirely without humans, often in total darkness, are a surreal, almost dystopian vision of precision manufacturing.
Factories with no people.
Creepy.
A single stray atom, a microscopic speck of human dandruff, can instantly ruin thousands of dollars worth of transistors.
Dandruff kills transistors. Got it.
The entire process, from raw sand to a finished packaged chip, takes 3 or 4 months, involving more than 10,000 different incredibly precise steps.
10,000 steps.
What?
For one chip.
And the photomasks, the intricate blueprints for these circuits, are themselves made of sand upon sand upon sand, layer upon layer of precisely etched silica.
Sand all the way down. The lasers that etch these designs use mirrors so smooth, so utterly flawless, that they are probably the smoothest man-made structures in the entire universe.
Smoother than anything. It's just beyond comprehension.
It really is.
And here's the geopolitical sting, the ultimate poker game that plays out with this magic sand. China spends more on importing computer chips than it does on oil.
More than oil.
Think about that for a second. More on tiny pieces of silicon than on the fuel for its entire economy. The U.S. reshoring talk, this idea of bringing chip manufacturing back home,
Yeah, you hear that a lot.
often completely betrays a deep ignorance of this incredibly complex, intertwined global dependency. No single nation controls the whole chain, or even could.
It's a global effort, whether we like it or not.
Taiwan for manufacturing, the Netherlands for lithography machines, Japan for specialty chemicals, the U.S. for design, and that one hidden mine in North Carolina. It's a web so intricate, so delicate,
Very fragile web.
that if one strand breaks, the entire goddamn thing is fucked. And everyone knows it.
Scary thought.
Saida. From the invisible atomic world of chips, let's turn to something you literally walk on, drive on, and probably live in every single day. Concrete.
Ah, concrete. Exciting stuff.
Boring, unfashionable, utterly ubiquitous concrete, right? But Thomas Edison, yes, that Edison, the Wizard of Menlo Park, didn't just invent light bulbs.
He had his fingers in many pies.
He also perfected the mass production of concrete, making it one of his most lucrative and arguably his most profoundly important inventions. It gave us scale.
Scale is the word.
It gave us the ability to build quickly and cheaply almost anything we could imagine.
And that scale, my friend, is truly staggering, almost beyond belief. There are more than 80 tons of concrete on this planet for every single person alive.
80 tons per person? That can't be right.
It is. That's around 650 gigatons in total, which is considerably more than the combined weight of every single living thing on the planet. Every cow, every tree, every human.
We've made more concrete than there is life. That's insane.
We produce enough of the stuff annually to cover the entire landmass of England in a thick layer.
Cover England in concrete every year. Jesus.
It's overused, overpoured, an unseen colossus forming the very foundation of our built world. Your home's foundations would crumble without it, as would our roads, bridges, tunnels, and every single car park from here to Tokyo.
Can't escape it.
It's the silent, unsexy king of our material existence, and it absolutely dwarfs everything else.
It's literally everywhere. And it makes you rethink that old biblical parable about building your house on sand. You know, the foolish man built his house upon the sand and the rains came down.
Yeah, the classic cautionary tale.
Because, as it turns out, there's nothing inherently wrong with building upon sand. We do it all the time quite successfully, thank you very much.
So the Bible got it wrong.
Well, the real brutal wisdom of that parable, when you look at it through the lens of concrete, is this. It's building on the wrong kind of sand. It's about ignoring the fundamental physics and geology, not the material itself.
Oh, okay. It's nuance again. It's always nuance.
Oh.
Exactly. Take the Burj Khalifa in Dubai, the world's tallest building. It's literally built atop shifting desert sands.
Right. How does that even work?
But it's made stable not by magic, but by 192 deep piles, reaching an astonishing 47 meters down, anchoring it to more stable bedrock.
So you drill way down past the bad sand.
Precisely. Or consider the Palm Jumeirah, those man-made islands off Dubai, built entirely from millions of tons of dredged seabed sand, constantly engaged in a battle with erosion and nature's relentless push.
Building islands out of the wrong sand. Seems smart.
And this leads to what we've come to call sand statecraft. Disputed Spratly Islands in the South China Sea, barren rocks really, are transformed into military bases because they can be expanded with sand and concrete.
Building military bases on artificial islands? Geopolitics via dredging.
The Maldives, battling rising sea levels, builds vital flood defenses with imported sand. And Singapore, one of the world's leading sand importers, has expanded its landmass by over 10 square miles a decade.
Stealing land from the sea.
Often at the cost of its neighbors' islands and active ecosystems. The numbers are opaque. Singapore says it imported 600 million tons over recent decades, but exporters only report 280 million.
Whoa, hold on. Where did the other 320 million tons come from?
Exactly. That huge discrepancy highlights unchecked, often illegal, and utterly destructive mining practices. Somebody's sand is disappearing.
That's a huge fucking discrepancy. Someone's definitely not telling the truth there, and it's almost certainly at the expense of fragile ecosystems and vulnerable communities.
No doubt about it.
And what this all means, when you really step back, is that humans, through this sheer mind-boggling volume of extraction and construction, are now a considerably bigger geological force than nature itself.
Bigger than volcanoes and earthquakes.
We have been since 1955. By 2020, the total weight of all human-made products, every road, every building, every phone, every piece of plastic, actually exceeded the total weight of all natural living things on the planet.
We outweigh nature now, officially.
We've officially outweighed Mother Nature, and it's a sobering, if darkly amusing, milestone.
And with this colossal scale comes an equally colossal and deeply inconvenient cost. Concrete production accounts for around 7 to 8% of global CO2 emissions.
7 to 8%. Just from concrete.
That's more than the entire aviation industry, for context.
More than planes. Wow.
The bigger problem, the harder nut to crack, isn't just the energy to heat the kilns to 1450 degrees C, which can theoretically be mitigated with alternative fuels.
So it's not just the burning fuel.
No, it's the millennia-old chemical reaction itself, the calcination of limestone. This ancient process involves heating limestone to extremely high temperatures, which chemically breaks it down and inherently releases carbon dioxide, regardless of the energy source used for heating.
So the chemistry itself makes CO2.
It's a chemical inevitability, a built-in carbon hangover we can't easily escape.
Great. Just great.
Yeah.
And here's a truly tragic irony, a real kick in the teeth of progress. In Mariupol, during the 2022 shelling by Russian forces.
Oh, God. Mario?
Among the buildings destroyed were some of the earliest and most promising examples of low-carbon, alkali-activated cement from the Soviet era.
Wait, the Soviets had low-carbon cement.
Apparently, these obscure, forgotten structures, relics of a bygone era, were actually critical clues for researchers trying to mass-produce greener concrete today. Gone. Just like that.
Future solutions, literally obliterated by conflict. That's awful.
Future solutions literally obliterated by conflict. And let's not forget the water cost, which is equally staggering. Concrete production accounts for about 1/10 of the world's industrial water use.
1/10, that's huge.
Much of it in drought-stricken regions. So goes the inescapable dilemma of the material world. Our solutions for building a modern life often create new, profound problems that ripple across the planet.
Solve one problem, create another.
It's a continuous, frustrating, and utterly necessary balancing act.
Whoa.
From the colossal weight of concrete, we pivot now to something that's invariably considered somewhat trivial, something you probably don't give a second thought to. Salt.
Salt, like table salt.
Yeah. I mean, it's just salt, right? You sprinkle it on your chips, maybe gargle with it when you've got a sore throat, no big deal.
Seems pretty basic.
But I'm telling you, this is the stuff of life itself, the literal bedrock for the entire chemicals and pharmaceuticals industry. It's an invisible maestro, orchestrating much of our modern existence.
Okay, color me intrigued. Salt as a maestro.
Seriously.
Absolutely. Think about what's under your kitchen sink in your cleaning supplies. Baking soda, bleach. They all begin their chemical life with salt.
Right, bleach. Yeah, chlorine comes from salt.
Yep. And those astonishingly advanced silicon foundries in Taiwan, the ones making our chips that we just talked about.
Yeah, the dandruff-free zones.
Many of the specialized gases and acids coursing through their intricate pipes, from the subfab up to the ultra-clean room, begin their lives as mere grains of salt.
So salt is crucial for chip making too, geez.
It's the invisible, unassuming maestro of the chemical world, a tiny but mighty fundamental ingredient.
And it's been that way for millennia, long before we were making microchips. I spoke with Steve, an archaeologist who was digging on the north coast of England near a place called Bolby.
Holby, yeah.
He uncovered these incredible 6,000-year-old Neolithic cheese-making factories.
Neolithic cheese factories, seriously.
Yeah. They were evaporating seawater to get salt, collecting vast amounts of firewood, managing dairy herds. We're talking about the earliest evidence of mass production and trade in Britain.
Wow. So salt was driving industry 6,000 years ago.
Not just subsistence farmers scraping by, but pioneers of complex manufacture, all centered around salt. It just shows you how utterly fundamental salt has always been to human enterprise.
And that profound historical significance leads us directly to the chloralkali process.
Chloralkali sounds technical.
Hardly anyone outside of industrial chemistry has ever heard of it, and those who work in it are notoriously private, almost like a secret society.
Ooh, a secret salt society.
But it's unquestionably one of the most important industrial achievements of the modern age. It's where salt, that simple everyday crystal, gets torn apart atom by atom, using electricity.
Zapping the salt.
To create chlorine gas and caustic soda. These two chemicals are absolutely critical for water purification, paper manufacturing, textiles, plastics, and a dizzying array of other industrial processes that underpin our entire civilization.
So, basically everything.
It's a fundamental alchemy of the modern industrial age, constantly running, constantly vital.
I visited a plant in Runcorn in the UK that alone provides 98% of the UK's chlorine.
98% from one plant. That's risky.
And a worker there, looking dead serious, whispered to me, if this place goes down unexpectedly, then within 7 days, this country is rationing drinking water.
7 days to water rationing. Holy shit.
7 days! That's how close we are to widespread chaos, to a fundamental breakdown of society, without this hidden, seemingly mundane, but utterly critical infrastructure. It's chilling how reliant we are on something we barely register.
Makes you look at the salt shaker differently.
Right.
And it's not just chlorine. Take soda ash. It was once a scarce, precious material, absolutely essential for making glass, soap, and paper.
Soda ash. That sounds familiar.
Louis VI of France even offered a substantial cash prize for a way to produce it artificially from salt. Such was its strategic importance.
A king offering prizes for salt chemistry.
Now, thanks to the chemical revolution, it's abundant and cheap. But this progress has a darker, more shameful side, a profound environmental cost we're still grappling with.
Ah, here comes the dark side. There's always a dark side.
Glasgow, for instance, which was once the world's biggest chemicals manufacturer, was ringed by towering chimneys pumping noxious sulfurous fumes from LeBlanc plants into the atmosphere, creating literal toxic clouds.
Lovely. Acid rain pioneers.
Early chloralkali cells used highly toxic mercury, poisoning local lakes like Onondaga Lake in New York to a devastating degree. Impacts still felt today.
Mercury poisoning, great legacy.
And chlorine itself has a horrifying legacy, having been used as one of the first chemical weapons in modern warfare.
Oh, right. WWI trench warfare. Chlorine gas. Brutal.
So often, technological progress, while undeniable, comes with a deeply messed up environmental or human cost. It's the material world's inescapable bargain.
Yeah, there's always a dark side, always a price to pay, isn't there? And historically, controlling salt has been an enormous source of political power and a flashpoint for rebellion.
Like the Gabelle?
France's infamous Gabelle salt tax was so hated, so universally despised, that it sparked countless rebellions and became emblematic of everything that was wrong with ancient regime France.
People rioting over salt prices.
People were tortured, broken on the wheel, sent to the galleys just for trying to avoid it. The tax was inescapable, a daily reminder of the crown's heavy hand.
God, that's grim. For salt.
For salt.
And that echoes through history quite powerfully. Think of Gandhi's iconic salt march in India in 1930.
Ah, yes, the salt satyagraha.
A 60-year-old man, a frail figure, walking 240 miles to the coast, simply to scoop up grains of salt and break a colonial law.
Such a simple act, such a massive impact.
It was a symbolic act, yes, but born from the profound, brutal wisdom that control over a basic, everyday material like salt, essential for every person's survival, could mobilize an entire nation against oppressive colonial rule.
Using the mundane to fight empires. Brilliant.
It was a brilliant, deeply resonant political act because it touched a fundamental human need.
But the story of salt isn't just ancient history and brutal oppression. It's also about unexpected modern breakthroughs and astounding scientific endeavors.
Oh, salt gets high-tech.
Back in Bolby, in Europe's deepest mine, where Steve the archaeologist found those ancient cheese-making factories.
Right, back to Boldy.
They're now mining polyhalite. It's a magic material. Many salts, from the ancient Zechstein Sea, a vast inland sea that once covered much of northern Europe millions of years ago, now holding unique mineral deposits.
Polyhalite, okay. What's it good for?
Polyhalite is proving to be a fantastic organic fertilizer with a minuscule carbon footprint compared to traditional methods.
Ah, green fertilizer from ancient seas. Nice.
Sustainable farming meets deep geology.
But mining it is brutal. Mind-numbingly hard work. It's like trying to mine solid concrete 2 kilometers underground.
2 kilometers down. Yikes.
In a constant 40-degree C environment with workers on incredibly long 11.5-hour shifts. The lift ride alone, dropping you into the Earth's guts, is 7 minutes at 7 meters a second.
7 minutes straight down. Claustrophobic nightmare.
Yet, in those same deep underground tunnels, they've set up cutting-edge labs for dark matter detection, shielded from cosmic rays by kilometers of rock and salt.
Wait, what's dark matter labs in a salt mine?
Yep. They're even searching for the first clues of alien life in incredibly stable salt deposits that preserve ancient microbes.
Alien microbes in salt. Seriously, this is getting weird.
The same material that fertilizes Wimbledon's tennis courts might also hold the secrets of the universe and the origins of life.
Wimbledon lawns and alien life, connected by salt. Okay, my brain hurts.
The legacy of salt truly still abides, in the most surprising, almost comically contradictory ways. It's a testament to the versatility and hidden depths of seemingly simple materials.
Never underestimate salt, I guess. Next up, we have the metals that literally forged empires and are now, quite literally, electrifying our futures: iron and copper.
The dynamic duo.
Let's start with iron, the backbone of industrial civilization. We usually talk about steel, but the deceptively simple truth is steel is just one of many varieties of iron.
Steel is fancy iron, basically.
And that seemingly small disparity in carbon content, often just a fraction of a percent, makes such a monumental difference. It's like the difference between a marshmallow and a brick, all from tiny variations in a recipe.
A little bit of carbon changes everything.
Hugely.
A monumental difference indeed. For centuries, this was an artisanal secret, guarded fiercely. Master ironworkers, capable of transforming a lump of brittle cast iron into a strong, flexible steel sword or a durable plowshare.
The blacksmiths knew the magic.
Or prized citizens, almost alchemists in their skill. They understood intuitively That you wanted your iron to be nearly pure, but not entirely.
Not too much carbon, not too little.
Too much carbon, and it shatters like glass. Too little, and it's too soft to hold an edge. It's a delicate, unforgiving balance, and it's why something like ancient Damascus steel, with its legendary strength and sharpness, is still such a mystery to us today.
Can't replicate it perfectly even now.
But the craft, the brutal wisdom passed down through generations, was everything.
And when steel technology got better, when we finally mastered its production on an industrial scale, everything fundamentally changed.
The Steel Age arrived.
Think about the iconic Forth Bridge in Scotland, a masterpiece of steel engineering, versus the Eiffel Tower in Paris, made primarily of wrought iron.
Ah, the bridge versus the tower.
Gustav Eiffel, the visionary, actually didn't trust steel enough for his tower, so he used more iron in shorter spans than would have been necessary with the stronger material.
Eiffel didn't trust steel.
Interesting. Steel rails lasted longer, steel tools were stronger, steel beams allowed for taller buildings. The agricultural revolution, for instance, profoundly rode on the back of steel plows.
Feeding the world with steel.
Cutting labor from 20 hours per hectare in the 18th century to less than 30 seconds per kilogram of grain by 1900. It's a quintessential general-purpose technology that profoundly transformed society, literally feeding billions.
30 seconds. Incredible leap.
Insane productivity jump.
But misunderstanding this basic material science, ignoring the brutal wisdom of metallurgy, can have truly catastrophic consequences. Mao's great leap forward in China in the late 1950s is a prime, horrifying example.
Oh God, the backyard furnaces.
He obsessed over steel output as a measure of national strength, ordering millions of peasants to build backyard furnaces in their villages.
Just melt everything down. Great idea.
They threw in any junk metal they could find, pots, pans, tools, even tearing down homes for fuel. Result, brittle, useless iron, not steel, that shattered on impact.
Making crap iron instead of useful tools.
Yeah.
Genius.
And it directly contributed to the worst famine in history, killing tens of millions of people.
Tens of millions dead
Yeah.
because of bad metallurgy and ideology.
A truly fucked up historical lesson in the devastating consequences of ignoring basic material science and letting ideology trump reality.
A completely avoidable tragedy born of profound ignorance and hubris. Today, the pendulum has swung, and China has achieved near-total dominance in global steel production.
They make almost all of it now.
Producing more in the last decade alone than the U.S. has since the beginning of the 20th century. Yet here's another brutal truth that binds nations together. China, despite its industrial might, remains utterly reliant on Australian iron ore.
Ah, the dependency web strikes again.
Specifically from the Pilbara region. There is simply no escaping geology, no bypassing where the good stuff is buried deep in the earth. The planet has its own immutable rules.
Can't argue with geology.
No.
And the Pilbara is home to Mount Whaleback, which is now less a mountain and more a truly gargantuan hole 6 kilometers long, 3 kilometers wide, and hundreds of meters deep.
A mountain turned into a giant hole for iron.
The mountain itself is gone. Literally scooped out of the ground, crushed, and shipped primarily to China and Japan to build skyscrapers, bullet trains, and cars.
God.
Lang Hancock, who discovered these vast reserves in the 1950s, secured an astonishing 2.5% royalty in perpetuity, making his daughter, Gina Reinhardt, one of Australia's richest people from the literal guts of the earth.
Generational wealth from a hole in the ground.
But this immense wealth, this engine of global development, comes at a horrific, often unacknowledged cost.
And this is where the heedless destruction really hits home, where profit utterly obliterates sacred meaning. Juukan Gorge.
Yeah, Juukan Gorge. That was bad.
A 46,000-year-old Aboriginal sacred site in the Pilbara, a place of immense cultural and spiritual significance, was destroyed by Rio Tinto in 2020 for a mere $135 million worth of iron ore.
$135 million for 46,000 years of history. That's...
It's sickening. The local Putakunti Karama people's philosophy, their entire dreaming, is all about the profound, unbreakable connection to the land, their ancestors, their history. Rupturing the geology, as they put it, ruptures the dreaming itself.
Destroying their entire worldview.
Destroying a cultural history older than the Quran or the Bible. Rio Tinto knew the site's significance, had alternative mining plans, but chose the immediate profit.
Knew about it and blew it up anyway. Jesus.
It sparked a corporate crisis, exposing deep-seated issues of racism and sexism within the company. This highlights the truly brutal wisdom that what seems like a small profit to one or a minor inconvenience,
A rounding error on their balance sheet.
can be the destruction of a people's very soul their heritage, their entire world for another. It's a stark reminder of our material demands human cost.
A truly brutal lesson.
Yeah.
And that interconnectedness, that deep global web, means that conflict far away can have surprisingly immediate and disruptive ripples across the entire world.
Like the butterfly effect, but with steel mills.
Take the Azovstal Steelworks in Mariupol, Ukraine. Its resilience was legendary, defying Hitler in WWII, and later Russian shelling in 2022.
Azovstal, the fortress.
But beyond its steel, it also produced unexpected byproducts, like neon gas,
Neon, like in signs.
which is absolutely essential for semiconductor manufacturing for etching those microscopic circuits we talked about.
Wait, neon gas for chips from a steel mill in Ukraine.
Yep. When that supply was cut off by war, it caused an immediate economic ripple, impacting global chip makers in Taiwan, South Korea, and even South Wales.
One steel mill goes down and chip production stutters worldwide. Crazy.
In the material world, everything is connected, often in ways we don't realize until something breaks, and then suddenly this seemingly minor component becomes everything.
Everything is connected. Scary.
Wow.
From the foundational strength of iron, we move to the invisible lifeline of electricity, copper. It's pure magic, truly.
Copper, the conductor.
If you take a strong magnet and drop it onto a thick slab of copper, it doesn't just clang down. It hovers for a moment, suspended, as if by an invisible force,
Then says law in action. Cool physics demo.
before slowly rotating and gently resting. It's not rocket fuel. It's the almighty, invisible force of electromagnetism at play, dancing with the electrons in the copper.
The magic of electromagnetism.
And make no mistake, this is the single most important force of the modern era, powering literally everything.
It truly is. Electricity, and copper's role in conducting it, rapidly improved nearly every aspect of everyday life, from the biggest industrial machinery to the smallest, most personal household tasks.
Life before and after electricity. Totally different worlds.
Think about this.
Huh?
The very first item most families bought when electricity finally arrived in rural America,
An electric iron.
an iron, not a light bulb.
An electric iron. Ironing used to be a soul-crushingly difficult, physically exhausting chore, causing women to be stooped and in pain by middle age.
Right, heating heavy irons on a stove.
Ah!
Awful. Suddenly, a simple electric appliance transformed daily life, bringing ease and efficiency. It was a liberation, powered by copper.
Wow. The humble iron as a liberator. Never thought of it that way.
Changed millions of lives.
And the productivity miracle behind copper is astonishing. Imagine this. An Olympic cyclist working at maximal lung-bursting effort
Yeah, Tour de France level effort.
can power a simple toaster for only about 60 seconds.
1 minute of toast for an Olympian's full power. Pathetic.
Yet our ability to extract and process copper has exploded. Copper production in the U.S. quadrupled in the 20th century alone, while the number of workers required fell by 2/3.
More copper, fewer workers. Efficiency.
The real price of a ton of copper, measured in how many years of average wage it would take to buy it, fell from a staggering 40 years in Roman times
40 years' wages for a ton of copper. Damn.
to an almost unbelievable 0.06 years per ton today.
Basically free compared to Roman times.
We just got incredibly ridiculously good at getting this stuff out of the ground and into our wires.
And this industrial story is a profound lesson in global interconnectedness. Take Swansea, Wales, for instance, once known as Copperopolis.
Copperopolis, cool name.
For a period, it refined an astonishing 65% of the world's copper, despite having no copper mines itself.
How'd they manage that?
Why? Because it had abundant, easily accessible coal, which was absolutely essential for smelting the ore brought from Chile, Australia, and Africa.
Ah, coal power, the secret ingredient again.
This was globalization as we know it taking shape in the Welsh valleys, a nexus of global trade driven by material needs. But it came at a truly fucked up environmental cost,
Here we go again.
transforming a once picturesque valley into one of the most polluted places in Britain, ringed by giant toxic piles of slag waste that scarred the landscape for generations.
Copperopolis becomes toxic, Phil. Lovely.
The price of progress, right?
And the cost is sometimes far more direct, far more personal. Chuquicamata, Chile, famously known as the Hole.
Chuqui, the giant copper pit.
Once a towering hill, it's now the world's deepest open-pit mine by copper extracted. Of every 13 grams of copper ever mined in human history, at least one of them came from here.
1 gram in every 13. From that one hole. Incredible.
But the ultimate brutal sacrifice. The mine quite literally ate the town.
Eat the town. How?
Its former inhabitants still refer to it as Chukikimata, Chuki, which kills, toxic gas clouds, colossal mountains of waste called tortas or cakes by locals, gradually buried houses.
The waste heaps buried the houses.
Oh, Jesus. The 20,000 inhabitants were forcibly moved, their homes left to rot, ultimately swallowed by the very resource that had sustained them for over a century.
Forced out by the mine that gave them jobs. Brutal.
This is the stark, undeniable reality of relentless resource extraction. It consumes everything in its path, sometimes even its own people.
This relentless push, this constant dance between human ingenuity and planetary limits, brings us to the age-old Malthusian versus cornucopian debate.
Malthus versus Simon. Limits versus ingenuity.
Thomas Malthus, centuries ago, warned of famines and inevitable shortages as population growth outstripped resource availability. Paul Ehrlich, a modern Malthusian, famously bet economist Julian Simon on commodity prices, predicting they would rise as resources dwindled.
Ehrlich lost the bet, right? Prices went down.
Ehrlich lost that specific bet, but neither side was entirely right. Human ingenuity does constantly push back against finite resources, finding new deposits, inventing new technologies, or discovering better ways to extract or refine.
So we're clever monkeys, we find ways.
We are.
But the Earth is fundamentally finite, isn't it? We can't keep finding endless new supplies on a finite planet. So what happens when we truly push too far, when the easily accessible terrestrial resources are depleted or too costly, environmentally or socially, to extract?
Where do we go next?
That's where deep-sea mining comes in, the ultimate frontier of resource extraction.
Mining the bottom of the ocean. Sounds easy.
The ocean floor holds staggering mineral treasures, polymetallic nodules, cobalt crusts, enough gold, theoretically, for 9 pounds for every person on Earth.
9 pounds of gold each. Okay, maybe it is worth it.
Well, it's far too expensive to get right now. But crucial battery metals like cobalt, nickel, and manganese are abundant down there, just waiting to be scraped up.
Battery metals. That's the real prize now. And this puts the International Seabed Authority, ISA, the UN body that manages these common heritage of mankind resources, in an incredibly uncomfortable and fraught position.
Who gets to mine the seabed? And how?
Countries like Chile, Fiji, and France are pushing aggressively for a moratorium on deep-sea mining, worried about the devastating environmental implications of tearing up vast, largely unexplored ecosystems.
Destroying ecosystems we don't even understand yet.
That might hold untold biodiversity and play critical roles in ocean health. There's a very real chance deep-sea mining could be effectively banned before it has even begun.
Banned before it starts, really.
Creating a critical crossroads for how we choose to confront our material demands and whether we prioritize immediate resource needs over the long-term health of the planet's most mysterious domain. It's a profound ethical and practical dilemma for humanity.
Yeah, a huge dilemma. What price are we willing to take?
Okay.
All right, let's wrap up this brutal wisdom with the fuels and storage that are powering our present and fueling our future, along with their massive, gut-wrenching dilemmas: oil and lithium.
The big kahunas of modern energy.
For centuries, humanity has been climbing a thermodynamic ladder, from burning wood to coal to kerosene, and then to oil.
More bang for your buck, energy-wise.
Constantly seeking greater and greater energy density to fuel our ever-growing ambitions, to power our ships, our trains, our planes, and eventually, our entire globalized civilization. Oil became the ultimate fire drug.
The fire drug, I like that.
The concentrated essence of millions of years of solar energy bottled for our instantaneous consumption.
And the sheer mind-boggling scale of oil is nowhere better exemplified than by Saudi Arabia's Ghawar field.
Ghawar, the monster field.
It's not just a big oil field. It's a legitimate geological wonder, an underground behemoth stretching 175 miles. This single field has provided, for decades, comfortably half of the world's entire oil reserves.
Half the world's oil from one field. That's nuts.
An astonishing, unbelievable, world-changing amount of black gold. The Persian Gulf region as a whole still holds about half the world's oil and 40% of its gas, a geological lottery win that has reshaped global geopolitics for the last century.
Whoever controls the oil controls, well, a lot.
Pretty much.
But crude oil isn't ready to use right out of the ground like some kind of natural juice. It's a thick, viscous, often foul-smelling cocktail of hydrocarbons.
Nasty stuff, crude.
It has to go to refineries, these mysterious plants of tubes and pipes, like the colossal Wesseling refinery in Germany, They're not just factories, they're vast, intricate chemistry sets designed to unmix that crude oil cocktail
Breaking it down into useful bits.
into its many different useful compounds: gasoline, diesel, jet fuel, asphalt, plastics feedstock. Germany's synthetic fuel program in WWII, for instance, relying on plants like Wessling, became absolutely critical,
The Nazis ran on synthetic fuel.
providing an astonishing 95% of the fuel used by the Luftwaffe. It was literally a war of refineries, with Allied bombers systematically targeting these facilities to cripple the Nazi war machine.
Bomb the refineries, ground the planes. Makes sense.
Control the oil, control the power.
And the history of oil also holds some truly shameful, almost cartoonishly evil stories. Take Thomas Midgley.
Midgley, the leaded gasoline guy. And CFCs. This guy was a menace.
The brilliant but utterly reckless engineer who discovered tetraethyl lead to stop engine knock in gasoline in the 1920s. Workers at his prototype House of Butterflies refinery.
House of Butterflies. Why?
So named because of their lead-induced hallucinations, literally went mad, shaking uncontrollably, and died from lead poisoning.
Oh my God. Hallucinating butterflies from lead poisoning. Horrific.
Midgley himself contracted lead poisoning, but then, in a truly bizarre and horrifying PR stunt, famously washed his hands in leaded gasoline at a press conference to prove its safety.
Washed his hands in leaded gas. What an idiot.
This was a scandal far, far more shameful and ethically compromised than today's environmental debates, yet it was swept under the rug for decades, poisoning entire generations for profit. It was a profound betrayal of public health.
An absolutely horrifying episode, and one that really makes you question human priorities. But here's the profound, almost cynical, brutal wisdom of petrochemicals. John D. Rockefeller,
Old Rockefeller himself.
apocryphally, is said to have declared, "Don't believe in wasting anything," and that 10% byproduct of oil and gas refining once flared off as a noxious waste.
This stuff they used to just burn off.
Now gives us a dizzying, almost unimaginable number of products. Every plastic thing you touch: pharmaceuticals, fertilizers, synthetic fabrics.
Plastics, medicines, fertilizers,
Yeah.
all from oil waste.
They literally clothe us, feed us, house us. They are among the newest human creations we know, yet are clean, yet duddy, commonplace but extraordinary. They're everywhere, integral to our lives, and we barely give them a second thought, completely unaware of their oily origins.
We're literally living in the age of oil, even if we don't drive gas guzzlers.
Totally.
And here's the truth about tomatoes. That plump, red, freshly plucked cherry tomato you just ate from the supermarket, the one that tastes vaguely of sunshine.
Yeah, my healthy snack.
It's often, ironically, the fruit of fossil fuels. Nitrogen fertilizers, created using an immense amount of natural gas via the Haber-Bosch process.
Haber-Bosch, right, feeds the world.
Samming the vast majority of our crops and animals. Without them, we simply couldn't feed 4 billion people.
Half the planet eats thanks to natural gas fertilizer.
Wow. And in massive greenhouses, like those covering an area the size of Paris in the Netherlands, CO2, also from natural gas, is pumped in to dramatically accelerate plant growth.
Pumping CO2 into greenhouses to grow tomatoes faster.
It's an utterly artificial, fossil fuel-intensive miracle. Without natural gas, it would be impossible to support nearly half of the global population at our current consumption levels. That's a brutal, inconvenient truth we conveniently ignore.
It's a complete paradox, a truly mind-bending catch-22. We rely on fossil fuels not just for energy, but for the very food on our plates and the clothes on our backs.
Can't live with them, can't live without them. At least not easily.
And the story of polyethylene, one of the most common plastics, is another wild one. 2 ICI chemists in 1933 rediscovered plastic.
Rediscovered. It was known before.
Blowing up their lab multiple times trying to perfect it, an accidental scientific breakthrough. It became absolutely critical during WWII for insulating radar cables and D-Day communication lines.
Plastic won the war. Or helped anyway.
Today, polyethylene is the most widely used plastic on the planet. Every 6 seconds, we make enough in Europe alone to wrap the Eiffel Tower from head to toe.
Every 6 seconds.
Right.
Wrap the Eiffel Tower. That's
Right.
obscene.
We've produced more plastic in the last 13 years alone than our entire output between its invention in the 1930s and 2010. The scale is just insane, utterly mind-boggling, and the environmental reckoning is only just beginning.
Drowning in plastic.
Pretty much.
This brings us to lithium, that magical metal at the very beginning of the periodic table, a primordial element forged in the immediate aftermath of the Big Bang itself.
Lithium. Element number 3, the battery superstar.
It's the incredibly light, incredibly reactive heart of the most powerful batteries, the missing link for escaping our fossil fuel addiction.
The key to the green transition.
The universe, in its infinite wisdom, hasn't given us anything better for portable energy storage. It's the critical ingredient for our green transition.
And the single biggest source for this magical element, Chile's Salar de Atacama.
The Atacama Desert, driest place on Earth, right?
A vast, surreal cauldron where water, trapped for at least 3 million years, flows down from the Andes, picking up lithium and other minerals, then evaporates in the driest desert on Earth, concentrating lithium over millennia.
Nature's giant evaporation pond.
It's nature's slow, deliberate alchemy, now being extracted at a furious, human-driven pace.
Lithium-ion batteries themselves are a Nobel Prize-winning breakthrough, a skyscraper analogy, where tiny lithium atoms shuttled back and forth between electrodes,
Like tiny elevators for energy.
charging and discharging with incredible efficiency and power. It's elegant, efficient, and profoundly powerful, enabling everything from your smartphone to your electric vehicle.
Can't live without my lithium-ion battery.
But here's the unavoidable gut-wrenching dilemma, the central paradox of our green future.
Ah, the dilemma. Always a dilemma.
The locals, the indigenous Licanante people like Pamela Condori, are on the front lines, and they're saying they're raping Mother Nature. They remove the water, taking away our rights to life, to our livelihoods.
Oh, man. Taking their water for lithium.
Christian Espindal, another local, performs ancient rituals worried about Pachamama, the Earth Mother, being desecrated.
Their sacred lands being drained for our batteries. That's heavy. It's the ultimate crossroads of mankind's future, isn't it? Because to achieve our environmental goals, to escape the brutal grip of fossil fuels, we absolutely need more materials, more extraction,
More mining to save the planet.
often with devastating local environmental and social costs. It's a zero-sum game for the Earth, and the global North's green salvation is often the global South's environmental apocalypse.
One person's solution is another's destruction. Rough.
And it's sparking a new age of autarky, a desperate scramble for self-sufficiency in critical materials. Biden, for instance, invoked the Defense Production Act to secure domestic lithium, a national security issue now.
National security lithium.
But even with that, the U.S. is still thoroughly dependent on China for battery processing and refining.
So we mine it here, send it to China to process, then buy it back. Smart.
China dominates battery manufacturing, but then it panics about its reliance on others for raw materials. The web of dependency is truly global, fiercely competitive, and incredibly fragile.
Everyone depends on everyone else, and everyone hates it. Yet, within this complex, often desperate scramble, there is a glimmer of hope, a potential path forward. Unmanufacturing.
Unmanufacturing, you mean recycling?
Companies like Umicore, which ironically has a long, colorful reed, brutally colonial, with a history of lead poisoning of local children and exploitation of Congo's uranium and cobalt history,
Wait, Umicore did what? Jesus.
are now becoming leaders in battery recycling. The vision is a truly circular economy, where the lithium and other precious metals from old, dead batteries are efficiently recovered and reused,
Closing the loop.
dramatically reducing the need for virgin extraction. It's a powerful reminder that where there's muck, there's brass. Profit and progress can sometimes come from the dirtiest, most complicated places,
Turning garbage into gold, or lithium anyway.
but it requires a fundamental shift in mindset. It's not just about digging, it's about diligently redesigning and reusing.
A circular economy. Sounds good, but hard to achieve.
Very hard, but necessary.
Yeah. So we've taken this deep dive, haven't we? From the literal depths of a Nevada gold mine, through the atomic dance inside a silicon chip, from the brutal tyranny of a salt tax to the poignant sacrifice of Chuquicamata, from the horrors of leaded gasoline to the ethical quagmire of lithium extraction. Okay, let's unpack this.
Lot to take in.
After all that, what stands out to you when you look at all this raw, messy, brilliant, and often profoundly fucked up reality?
What becomes blindingly, unmistakably clear beyond any shadow of a doubt is an unavoidable, utterly intricate web of connections and reliances.
The web. It always comes back to the web.
A system so complex, so globally distributed that it seems almost impossible to truly disentangle. Australian iron ore to Chinese steel to European alloys to American cars.
Chilean copper and lithium to global electronics.
Salt to the very chemicals that purify our water and make our clean rooms function. This intricate global dependency, this mutual vulnerability is the brutal wisdom that underpins everything.
Can't escape it.
There's no escaping it, no true autarky, just varying degrees of complex reliance.
And the staggering paradox, the truly comical aspect of our modern world, is that we've achieved this astonishing scale of commerce, this incredibly efficient, interconnected global machine.
It works most of the time.
But it's fostered a profound, almost pathological disconnection from its own foundations. We've become blissfully, comically ignorant about the primary industries upon which we all rely for our very survival.
We just want the stuff, don't care how it gets here.
No one truly understands how a smartphone or even a pencil is actually made. We take the magic for granted, but we ignore the messy physical reality that makes it possible.
And that profound disconnect really bites us in the ass. When supply chains work smoothly, when materials flow freely across continents, when the ships sail on time and the mines operate without interruption,
Happy days. Click buy now.
it hardly seems to matter where things come from, where they are made, or how they are made, they just magically appear. But when these supply chains break down,
Like during a pandemic or a war.
most obviously in the face of war, trade battles, pandemics like the WWI glass famine you mentioned, or Russia cutting off European gas supplies, or a single ship getting stuck in a canal all of a sudden, where something is mined and made is no longer an irrelevant detail. It becomes everything.
Suddenly, geography matters again. A lot.
The hidden dependencies become glaring vulnerabilities.
So the fundamental, non-shakable principle that undergirds all of this, the ultimate undeniable truth, is that materials and energy are the very foundations of modern life.
Bedrock reality. Can't escape physics and geology.
They literally undergird everything we build, consume, and aspire to. And when they're in short supply, when that intricate global web of material flow is disrupted, when the Earth itself pushes back against our relentless demands,
Which it does.
things don't tend to go very well. Economic productivity plateaus, countries frantically rethink their industrial heartlands, and we're forced, often painfully, to confront the brutal truth of our profound physical dependency on a finite, obstinate planet.
The party stops when the resources run low.
It's the ultimate reality check, and it laughs at our cleverness.
So considering that in the grand geological year of Earth's existence, humanity arrived just a quarter to midnight.
15 minutes of fame, or infamy.
And yet in that blink, in that laughably brief moment, we've managed to become a considerably bigger geological force than nature itself. Doesn't all this insane ingenuity, this constant wrangling with the Earth's guts, the endless, almost comical scramble for simple substances like sand and salt,
Yeah. Doesn't it just make you wonder?
just make you wonder if common sense is nothing more than the most elaborate, most self-soothing fairy tale we've ever told ourselves?
Ooh, harsh. Common sense is a fairy tale.
A comforting fiction designed to avoid truly confronting the hilariously absurd and brutally real truths of the material world. We build our entire lives on foundations we barely acknowledge, and then we're surprised when the ground shifts.
Build on ignorance, surprised by earthquakes. Got it.
It's almost too funny if it weren't so terrifyingly real.
And that's a thought worth chewing on, a truth that will stick with you long after this deep dive is over. So what does this all mean for you? Keep your eyes and your mind wide open.
Pay attention to the physical world.
Because once you start truly looking, once you stop taking these fundamentals for granted, the magic, the mess, the profound beauty, and the brutal costs of the material world are everywhere, absolutely everywhere. Thanks for diving deep with us.